That's right. It does matter. And one reason why Drake's has such a big lead as well, that's where Diazbiffle was at, okay? So is Noob, so is Hisoka. So you've got your powerhouse teams that continue to just boost up the Drake's numbers there. But got to start off, of course, as we typically do with the game winners. And this time it's going to be Biffle, Sage, and Shifty. They won game 1 with 27 eliminations. They win game 4 with 34 eliminations. So you know every team is going to be trying to go for them. But it's not going to be an easy play at all. We're heading down to market. Let's see what they can do.
Absolutely. We also see a bit of collision with their team, with Team Hisoka really off rep. I wonder if they land a little bit closer. Maybe Hisoka's taking Maul, rotating in. But we haven't seen them eliminate each other just yet. It's like they almost get an elimination or two and they can't close it out. I mean, what do you expect from two powerhouse teams? You know what I mean?
Dude, they're gonna bump heads. Like, again, you know, first place for Biffle week 1, week 2. Hisoka second place week 1 and week 2. They're looking to break that mold if they possibly can. So naturally, they would fight, especially off of the initial. It just makes sense. And Lucky, remember, like Hisoka's team last game finished off in 18th place. That was their lowest finish we have seen them get yet. And I do believe the game before they had a lower placement. So seems like they're fragging out well. That's why they're currently in 4th place with 65 points, but they're placing that multiplier, right, that you get from placing well. They're not getting the benefit of that.
Right, and we talked about that too going into game number 4. You know, what are teams struggling with? Is it the kills, with the placement? It seems like Hisoka's team struggling a bit with the placement, which is, I think, the better of the two to kind of be struggling on. If you're struggling on the kills, it's a little bit, you don't have much to do, right, other than change your tempo. But when it talks about placement, you could just slow it down rather than having to speed it up. Slow it down. Right, worry about, you know, your rows, worry about getting to center zone on 4th, closing on 5th, and secure it from there. Age is going to have temper, which is a huge play on that. And we've seen a lot of plays with tempered, as well as the medic vest. Quick revives, get back in the fight, get your team up, and get going.
That's it. That's it. As soon as, or the quicker you can get back into a fight, get your reinforcements, the better off you're going to be when it comes to Resurgence as a whole. And there it is, right? So we're going to be able to see that med kit, or it should be medvest, come into play. And it looks like we are in a bit of a maze situation. Turn left is the strategy. Turn left is the strategy for Noobs. He's just waiting for Tommy to get back in. But I think there's somebody else creeping around in the bushes.
And notice, too, that the electric charge that went off on Noobs. Oh, never mind. He's back in a 1v1 situation. The knock's going to be in on Z Colors and Evan. Oh, my goodness. The range game's gonna be difficult for that team. Oh
man, it is, dude. Every game, it just seems like that's the case, dude. But Noob's taking quite a bit of damage, finds his way to stay alive, spots the player. No way, he gets the drop. He does break the shields, but not the drop. I mean, his accuracy, the accuracy of all the pros in this lobby is incredible.
Yeah, you got to be careful re-peeking. You know, a lot of players might see this as an easy peek for when you're in a public match, but when you're going up against the best of the best, you shoulder peek a second too long, you now are walking away with no plates, asking what just happened. You're dazed. Like, what's going on? Where my plates go? Right? And so that's exactly what's going to happen there with Rated. I'm getting deja vu reflections. This was the same zone and about the same fights we're seeing as game number 1.
That's right, it was, and they were trying to fight for the rooftop, which pushing up the ladder is always a risky thing, but neither Almond drops nor does Noobs, but does he fall this time? Yes, and Almond had to have fallen a little bit early. He does to Dongi, so that should be 2 down. It will be, and Tommy last alive, luckily not being pressured, so he's going to be fine. We transfer over to Destroy, who is destroying every player he sees. He's already at 3 elims.
Yup, he's at the home base of the Lions versus Drake's competition at Stadium right now. He's looking to secure some more points here with the ISO smoke and the Claymores, which was a newer addition to week number 2. Reflections. We've seen a lot of the proximity mines, and now we're seeing a lot of Claymores. You think it's kind of changed up a lot of the play style with these teams?
I don't think it changed the play style per se, but I definitely think it gave more reassurance to holding a rooftop down. One great play that we saw in week 1, there was a team hanging on top of a roof, and then one guy, literally one solo player, challenged a trio on the roof by going up the grappling line, and he eliminated the entire trio, jumped down, he picked up 2 more right after. A Claymore would have stopped that push in its tracks, and they would have been able to focus them, so I think it definitely gave more reassurance, but the rooftop play is still very much the way to go about playing Vondel Resurgence.
Yeah, and you mentioned too, Destroy being one of your favorite players, the passion, right? You take a look at that base game, he's screaming, the energy's there, and that's kind of what you need on a team, right? Keep the vibes up, keep the energy, keep the momentum, because when things aren't looking good or things are looking good, you need that team to help push you or help you get out of a situation. That's exactly the role Destroy's gonna do, while also clean up 5 eliminations with still 19 teams up. I mean, that's a great start for him.
Wonderful start for him indeed, man. 5 eliminations. Last week they had a great performance, but this week they're looking to do a little bit better. Destroy on the tournament on Monday, by the way. He was tearing it up. The vibes were at an all-time high. And it looks like this game he is quite pumped up too. When we hopped on board with him for the first time, he was literally screaming into the camera. If he keeps that energy up, Destroy is a scary player.
Yeah, especially with the newer roster changes, Destroying them, they're performing a lot better, right? They got Raul, a new addition to the team, helping clean up the Slayer role, and that's going to be another knock for Destroy on Zepti. And notice they're kind of just holding this power position top stadium, right? They're just kind of chilling out, getting a lot of these freer picks. Not too many of these 50-50 gunfights. They're picking and choosing real wisely, and they're cleaning up for it. And look at Raul across the map, just trying to get his loadout and work his way back in. The 2-1 split is looking spicy for this squad.
Spicy indeed. Can they handle the spice, though? I think they can, and they're going to stay where they're at currently, and that's a great thing to do. Some rare shots missed. I almost take it for granted, Lucky, when I see players like floating in, right, that I just know they're going to get beamed out of the air. Not the case this time around, but that's okay. If you don't shoot your shot, you'll never know if you'll connect. So
absolutely,
all is well anyway. 6 elims. I mean, seriously, a great game. And I don't know if they'll beat 34 eliminations, but this could very well be the game to put them back in the top 10.
Yeah, and let's talk about this rotation real quick as Raul and Destroying them work their way in. The powerhouse positions, if you guys are watching at home, if you're familiar with the map, it's going to be Zoo, that building to the left-hand side. Across from that, you have 2 smaller buildings, which have great oversight of the map, and I think those are going to be powerhouse positions to hold, especially outside of that. It's just water, right? You just got the water towers, you got the little buildings and so forth. So if they manage to get control of Zoo, which a lot of other teams are having the same idea, they'll be in a better position than most teams.
The water we go. Zlaner being the tip of the spear. Destroy's going to be kind of hanging back a little bit, but they're still progressing towards that 1 dot that they saw on top of the roof. So this could be a 2v1 that Zlaner and Destroy decide to get involved with. Now Destroy is going to be the tip of the spear himself, pushing up as quickly as he can up the stairs, which I do believe the player they were pursuing has rotated off and is at a different location. Yeah, has pushed actually out. So a lot of ground still to cover, but now they're moving in quick. They have closed the gap, and an engagement should happen shortly.
Yeah, they're not stopping, and just like that, a mortar strike coming in. Finally, the other team's able to get some streak on them to slow down Destroy's team, but they said, no, you know what? We're powerhouse, and we're going right through this. I got 7 eliminations. I gotta get the double digits. You saw what Diaz did last game. He wants to do the same. He's got a lot of eliminations under his belt, and he's not gonna slow down. Destroy, the dead pings are coming in. Look at them, in sync with each other. He's gonna miss the ledge, though. Oh, no, it's gonna go back
to the ledge. Takes a bit of damage from the mortar strike as well, but he's going to be just fine. Still 12 plates remaining, and he's going to swing this angle wide and double back, which I think is the correct play, because if he swung that wide, he was going to run into a fresh trio who's going to be by himself. He goes down. He now leaves Zlaner and Raul to, kind of defend for themselves, which wouldn't have been the best play, at least in my opinion. On board with Lula, playing with Vortex and Blade at the moment. Lula's got 1 elimination. They're currently pinned up in a building as well, looking to fight it out.
Lula's going to go ahead and work the staircase. She has an ISO in hand, a favorable weapon in these close quarter gunfights. Looking up to work the top. Oh, it's going to be Vortex going to go down for the count. The good cleanup coming in with Lula. The stim play coming into play. Blatant out there in a 3v2 situation. Actually, call it 2v2 because we got Vortex still down for the count. The revive's going to come into play, and now they're going to reset this gunfight. Reposition. Okay, get ready to go. You're plated up. All right, pick it up. We got to go. We got to push this team out and look for some more elims because 2's not going to cut it.
I was in tech, so you gotta at least assume there's going to be a couple more out there. At least it's going to be Brawlic, Intex, and Believe on that roster, who have definitely had some struggles. They play really well, but we've been watching from Brawlic's perspective where, things are looking great. They're looking like they're going for a top 5, maybe even a first place position, and then they run in and they're all down, and things go from bad to worse for Lula as she loses Vortex and Blade, and now Lula is forced to survive as long as she possibly can to get her teammates back into play, but 24 seconds is a long time.
That's a long time. At home, it might just be a few seconds, but for her, that 20 seconds probably feels like a minute. And hopping on board with Brawlic, like you mentioned before, I think he's sitting about 7th or 6th place, so not too bad, but not great either. Right? He wants the top 5. He wants the money in his pocket. 40 bullets in the clip of the MP5, not much to work with, especially with Believe with no plates. So they are alive. They're going to get their other teammate up, but they're not really in the best position with the last minute going into endgame. The snipes coming in. Frolic said, I'm out. He's gone.
Disengage, man. I gotta go. And Frolic is gone. And honestly, best play to make, because it would be heartbreaking to see him get eliminated this early on after having some at least skips from earlier in games 1 and games 2. But 18th place, 18 teams still remaining. This lobby seems like it's holding on quite well, despite us being several minutes into it. And honestly, we might hit resurgence with 17 teams still remaining, but let's see what Brax could do. We haven't seen him actually in a while, and this is Empathy's roster, who I believe we were seeing him kind of get involved into the kill feed a little bit earlier, so it's going to be nice to see the perspective.
He's one shot.
The shots are coming in with the attack beyond a player who thought it'd be a good idea to call in a loadout in the water, but it's not going to be the play. Brax is not going to let him do it, but also let's take a look at the zone, right? We mentioned about a couple zones ago, it's going to end towards this area, loading district and the edge of Zoo. Now, the teams that are across the water on the side of Zoo, I think I'm going to have to put them in a more favorable position, considering they don't have to take all these, 50-50 water fights, right? They don't have to worry about going in and out, you know?
Yeah, good call on that 50-50 water fight, because that's really what it is, man. And that's why we see so many teams get dropped in the water, and so many players who are trying to survive. They're the last one on their team. They just got to stay up a little bit longer. They go to water, and they get into these 50-50 fights, which is always a terrible thing. Good shots coming out from Brax. And I'll take down Vortex just across the way. We were on board with Vortex for some time as they were trying to stay up as long as possible. And there's some more. One standing out in the open. You don't want to do that against these players.
I noticed they're not just kind of posting in this building either. They're going from window to window. They're looking for their next pick. Every second they are moving as if they had a bomb strapped and they're ready to go. They're going window to window. Got some players coming in too. They're going for the buy station. That's what you said at the top of the show, right? These players trying to make the hero play for a quick revive, but with a player like Brax sitting at the top window, he's not going to let it happen. You kidding me?
Not going to let it happen, man. Oh, man. Well, they're going to post up. Oh, actually, some smokes indicates there's going to be a player. Brax takes the opportunity. He wants this. And he's going to get up close and personal. Oh my God! Yo, talk about a jump scare, Lucky.
He said, scoot over. I got to hit the buy station too. But also, just about 20 seconds, things are going to go from good to bad. Because look at that zone. They're going to have to cross the water, across to the zoo side, and it's going to be a tough one. Yeah, they're gonna be. It's gonna be tricky. They're gonna have to turn to sharks, or I don't know.
Do you go left though? Do you go through the water, or do you take left and go to the land?
You know what? I think Brax doesn't have a bunch of eliminations here. I'm checking for smokes, because if you look at their artillery, they don't really got much. That's exactly the play. He's gonna drop some smokes for his teammates, and possibly, yeah, they gotta fly in here and maybe take the right-hand side. Those buildings look a little bit juicier rather than the left one. Oh yeah, that one on the rooftop. Nope, that's a no-go. Unless they get the knock, then they could go.
If they, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, this is awful. PA, back away. Get away as quickly as you can. Oh, no. And like you said, it goes from bad to worse. 2 are down. Empathy, where you at? Get your boys back into play.
It might be a solo mission for Empathy. He's realizing, you know what? They made the bad play. I gotta rotate. He's looking to go right. They're on the right. He's looking to go left. They're on the left. The smokes are coming in. The water play might be in. Let's get covered down. Oh, man. 10 eliminations, though. Let's not forget about that. That's a lot.
It's still a great game. It's still a great game, Lucky, but I mean, like, you want a little bit more, because you're outside of top 10. You're outside of top 10, and you will finish in 10th place exactly, and that's gotta hurt. That PA, brother. That PA dropped them. You said it best at the beginning. Mortar strikes, okay, you can work through. PAs, you gotta get out of the way quick.
Gotta respect those PAs, but Natasha now, she is sitting about to be top 10 position here, but with no eliminations. That's where we talk about, right? Great position, great rows. I'm glad they got to the end game, but with no kills to multiply, you know, what's 1 times 0, right? You ain't gonna get much, right? So hopefully they can get something.
0.
Exactly.
I'm bad at math, but I can do that one, brother.
I love it. You gotta find some elips here, man.
That's it. Hopefully they can. Enno was left to his own devices in his last game as both of his teammates dropped off. It might become the same situation, but Natasha holding on strong. Not a lot of plates, though, but she'll have to kind of break them up, give them over to Enno, and they're going to have to play without Zepti. Top 6, though, not a bad position. This could very well be a follow-up from week 1 where Natasha ended up getting a victory, but out of the water she goes. She stays alive miraculously.
Gotta watch out for the sharks. She does have a portable replay buy station here. She can throw it into zone. hit a rotation in, get their teammates up. She might fall, but she'll be able to get her teammates up. But no, it's going to be Foreign Jace with a quick knock. And the last one alive with 1 elimination in a... Looks like there's 5 teams remaining, 6 players. So a lot of solos, actually. It's anyone's game up until the end on this one. It's going to be...
Inno, good job for 1, goes for 2, keeping the dream alive, top 2 position, and it's going to be a 1v1. Inno trying to carry Natasha to victory. The player has been spotted, the plates are getting broken, and Zimdex from the back will take Inno down, and he will get second, but what a great effort that was. And for first place, I don't know who got it just yet, but that was one heck of an ending, and it's going to, well, excuse me, it's going to be Inno for second, but we'll find out first very shortly.
Wow.
Woo!
It literally, I mean, what, 8 people live, 1v1v1v1v1, what just happened? And like I said, those rotations are unforgiving once the water's in the play, right? Natasha jumped through the water, jumped back out, was getting shot by 3 people under the docks. It was a